From the Valley's News Channel, this is Channel 5 News at 4.
Good afternoon. We begin with breaking new criminal allegations against a justice of the peace who's already been convicted of taking bribes. This time, the feds are the ones bringing the charge. This criminal complaint was just brought into our newsroom. Our Rebecca Young is now joining us to explain what this all means. Rebecca?
Well, former JP Melo Ochoa pled guilty less than 2 months ago to bribery charges. He admitted he took thousands of dollars from one particular bail bondsman. In exchange, he'd lower the bonds of certain defendants. Now, according to the indictment, he did this for years. Ochoa received probation after pleading guilty. Now, others are coming forward, admitting that they too paid Ochoa to lower bonds for defendants. One such woman, Sylvia San Juanita Vasquez, has just been charged in federal court in connection with those bribes. In an unusually detailed criminal complaint, Vasquez admits she helped facilitate a bribe that was paid to Ochoa to lower the bond of a man facing serious drug trafficking charges. He had been caught with 89 kilograms of cocaine and expected federal charges would be filed. His bond was originally set at $2.5 million. Vasquez says they bribed Ochoa to get it lowered, and Ochoa did in fact lower the man's bond to $50,000. Once he made bond, he was transferred into immigration custody. He was deported before charges could be filed. Vasquez says that was the plan all along. Now, Vasquez herself will be in federal court next week for her own probable cause hearing. There are many others potentially involved in the case, including the man's attorney. Vasquez says he helped facilitate that bribe too. Live in the newsroom, Rebecca Young, Channel 5 News at 4.
Well, all new at 4, nearly 2,000 Valley residents are without water service right now. Crews are working to repair a pipe break at the Union Water Supply Corporation plant in Rio Grande City. The break will affect customers from east of Rio Grande City to La Grulla. General Manager Marta Gaitan says repairs should be completed by the end of the day, but that doesn't mean you can drink faucet water just yet. Customers are urged to boil water for at least 3 days once full pressure is restored. Well, the fight to stop President Obama's executive action is taking center stage in Brownsville. The state of Texas is suing the Department of Homeland Security. Our Shelley Childers was in the courtroom all morning. She joins us live with the very latest.
Texas wants an injunction. They want to halt the president's executive action. Their lawsuit landed in the Southern District of Texas in this federal courthouse behind us in Brownsville. Well, it took most of the day for federal judge Andrew Hanen to hear out both sides. Ultimately, the judges decided not to make a ruling until after January 30th. We spent most of the morning listening to the state of Texas explain why they have a case against the federal government and why they can sue the federal government. Texas believes the president's actions violate the U.S. Constitution and federal law. 24 other states have also joined Texas in this lawsuit. It was just announced in court this morning that Tennessee is also now adding their name to the list. That's part of the reason why the judge is now waiting until the end of January to make a final decision on this injunction. The U.S. government was also challenged by the judge. One high point of contention was whether or not the rules now put in place to protect illegal aliens were made up arbitrarily. We'll have more on those details coming up at 5 o'clock. Now reporting live from the federal courthouse in Brownsville, Shelley Childers, Channel 5 News at 4.
Well, the Mexican government is now issuing birth certificates right here in the Valley. Mexican nationals can now pick up their birth certificates at the consulate's office in McAllen. The Mexican government hopes to make it easier for immigrants to get work permits and avoid deportation. The process is very easy and inexpensive.
You just have to come here with ID, with an official ID, whether it's from Mexico or the US, but it has to be official ID. And you have to fill out a form. That is really simple.
The cost for the birth certificate is $13. Now, before today, Mexican nationals would have to travel back to their homeland to get birth certificates. Many Mexicans would ask friends and relatives back home to send their paperwork north of the border. We're breaking new details on Cuba and U.S. relations. Starting tomorrow, it will be much easier for Americans to travel to Cuba. The White House just released details regarding the island nation. Ryan Nobles is in Washington to explain how it will impact you.
It is a policy shift 5 decades in the making. These 50 years have shown that isolation has not worked.
A new relationship between the United States and Cuba, and starting this Friday, the average American will be able to reap the benefits.
A Mercedes man is being asked to pay a bill from a hospital in Northeast Texas. The problem is he's never been to that hospital. Eustacio Flores recently received a letter from the hospital. The hospital also left Flores a voicemail.
So I called them up, telling them that they wanted to give me some help on it to pay my bills. And I said, well, what kind of help are you talking about? I have insurance and everything.
The company who called Flores is Carton Outreach. Channel 5 News spoke with a spokesperson for the company today. Carton Outreach says the company made a mistake in contacting Flores. Now, our Steve Solis will have more on this story coming up on Channel 5 News at 6. Well, all new at 4, a 15-year-old baby has died of shaken baby syndrome. Police say the girl was severely shaken as an infant by her biological father. Now, Bailey Rose suffered severe brain damage. She underwent nearly 20 surgeries and spent that last 15 years not being able to walk, talk, or do anything on her own. Late last month, her health started to decline more.
They let me climb in bed with her, and I just wrapped myself around her, held her hand, wrapped my knees around her knees.
Bailey's father eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree child assault and served about 2 years of his 46-month sentence. Bailey's mother says she hopes he will also be held accountable for their child's death. Now, police are on the search for a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde on the run and stealing cars. Authorities say they are armed, and one mother is making a plea to bring them back home before it's too late. The story coming up. And a thief stealing gas straight out of people's gas tanks. Police say the suspect is getting away with the gas and leaving victims to deal with the damages. Plus, more benefits are on the way for federal workers. The latest on the legislation the president just signed into law in 2 minutes.
Breaking news, breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Carrie Zayas and First Warn 5 Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tim Smith. This is Channel 5 News at 4.